What's up, guys?
ICE just killed an American woman in her car in Minneapolis today. I just finished today's show, which you're still gonna get here because there's a lot of news we have to dive through. And the details, they're still coming out because this just happened, but here's the setup. ICE officers were on a residential street and it looks like there were protesters there watching and recording. And a woman seemed to have her car in the middle of the road and she was approached by an ICE officer who told her to get the fuck out of the car. She then tried to back away a little before then going forward in her SUV. It's looking like she's trying to get away. And that's when, on one of the videos we've seen, we see an officer near the left front of the car taking out his pistol and shooting her multiple times at essentially point blank range. The car then went a short distance before crashing into another parked car, and afterwards you had people just screaming.
You are f***ing criminals! You're f***ing criminals!
The authorities then moved to call 911 and the victim was pronounced dead. Right, again, this is still developing. There's not much we know other than she was a US citizen. Also, since ICE killed this woman, more protesters have started to confront ICE agents and local officers on the scene, leading to tear gas being fired into the crowd. And eventually you saw there was a sizable police force there, although ICE and federal agents have since left. Right, and the reactions and narratives here, depending on where you go, have been very different. Right, you have the Trump administration already justifying the officers' actions, with Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem saying at a conference,
ICE officers were out in an enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They
That's
were
such
attempting to push out
bullshit.
their vehicle, and a woman attacked them, and
Bullshit.
those surrounding them, and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him. And my understanding is that she was hit and is deceased. We're continuing to gather more information, but this goes to show the assaults that our ICE officers and our law enforcement are under every single day. These vehicle rammings are domestic acts of terrorism. We're working with the Department of Justice to prosecute them as such.
with many not surprised or going with that argument, as there is precedent for defending officers who use deadly force when a car is heading towards them in some way, even at slower speeds. But then also on the other side of this, you have a lot of people demanding some form of justice. We're saying that it looked like this woman was trying to turn to the side and get away, saying at the very least it looks like the second shot was taken from the complete side of the vehicle. You had Minneapolis City Council member Jason Chavez saying that the ICE agent that shot somebody should be arrested effective immediately, with him then going on to add that there needs to be community patrols to warn people about ICE raids and prevent kidnappings. Also, you have local prosecutors pushing hard for what they call a local investigation, which is the only way to ensure full transparency and review. Additionally, you saw Minneapolis police officers apparently seeing this coming, with Chief of Police Brian O'Hara saying yesterday, "I've been concerned for weeks that because the issue is so emotional, because frankly, some of the way this stuff has been carried out, the greatest risk to me is that there would be unrest or that there would be a tragedy. That somebody could get seriously hurt or killed because of what's happening." And finally, with the city's mayor demanding that ICE leave immediately, although he doesn't have the power to actually enforce that himself.
Get the fuck out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here.
Right, but with this,
Hi, Jerome.
many are saying this incident is similar to one that happened in Chicago, where two people were arrested for boxing ICE in with their cars. One person there, Marimar Martinez, was accused of ramming her car
Thank you,
into
Kaiju.
a vehicle before getting shot multiple times. So there, she still managed to drive away before
Hi,
being
how are
seen
you?
by paramedics with relatively minor injuries. And while she and the other person were charged with assaults on federal employees, just 6 weeks later, the charges were dropped. With it seeming like the government decided to drop the charges rather than release the text messages of agents at the scene because they showed just how excited they were to shoot people. You know, here's what I'll say as this latest situation is developing. There is one thing that is clear. This isn't going to reduce the tensions that many people have with ICE raids. Or many of the people that have seen this video, they're saying this is murder, but you have the administration continuing to call it a defense against an act of domestic terrorism. And that's the thing. Right now, we have an administration that has shown they have no problem, stretching the truth or outright lying if the propaganda game wins. And well, of course, with this story, I'd love to know your thoughts, opinions, and reactions to this news. That actually brings us to the first thing that I wanted to talk about today with you. Everything that you think you know about January 6th, it's a lie, right? All those brave folks who entered the Capitol that day, they were
Some
peaceful,
shit going down
patriotic
where I'm
protesters just
from.
exercising their First Amendment rights, but the Democrats, they masterfully
I'm doing all right.
brand them as insurrectionists. And that, even though the Democrats themselves are the real insurrectionists for certifying a fraudulent election. That in a nutshell, is how the Trump administration spun one of the worst assaults on American democracy during the event's 5th anniversary. We've seen Trump publishing an insane revisionist history on the official whitehouse.gov website yesterday, and the reactions to it, they've been just as crazy. And so let's dive into this, starting with Trump's speech that afternoon at the Ellipse. Because the White House, they claimed that he was blameless for what happened afterward, arguing that he emphasized the need to protest peacefully.
I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
But that, it was just one moment in the middle of an hour-long speech and a 3-hour-long event. If you
yeah, it's really fucked up. I have multiple friends that live like right in that area and were a witness to some of the shit going on.
Our country has been under siege for a long time. We fight like hell, and if you don't fight like
also,
hell,
a family member of mine that was like the financial provider for that portion of the family was also deported, and so they're struggling, and it's like everyone I know is struggling, and it's like the perfect storm for violent rhetoric to like actually do real fucking harm. And it's just, yeah, it's really disgusting, honestly.
We're gonna walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're gonna walk down to the Capitol because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong.
Next up, the White House claims that the so-called patriots marched to the Capitol and that they were peaceful, orderly, and spirited, saying that it was actually the police who deliberately escalated tensions by aggressively firing tear gas, flashbangs, and rubber bullets into the otherwise peaceful crowd. Meanwhile, officers inexplicably removed barricades, opened doors, and even waved people inside of the building. Except, problem there, that's just not true, right? Some cops did lead rioters through the flimsy barricades, but that's because they were hopelessly overwhelmed by an enormous mob and they were trying to keep it under control. And in truth, I don't know how many people have forgotten this, or they've just listened to the lies so much they have like this different image in the head. The rioters themselves climbed over walls and fences, they toppled barricades, they broke down doors, they shattered windows. And at this point in the White House's narrative, it's really not even clear which story they want to tell. Right, half the time it's like all these patriots, they did nothing wrong, and then the other half of the time it's like actually it was a violent riot, but the Democrats provoked it. In fact, it suggests that dozens of FBI assets inside of the crowd urged everyone else to break into the building. But as we've long known, those assets were just informants, not undercover agents, and there's no evidence anyone actually working for the FBI provoked the riot. Also, of course, the rioters were not peaceful. In fact, many of them were armed, or with reported weapons including guns, pepper spray, tasers, a sword, axes, hatchets, knives, destroyed office furniture, fencing, bike racks, stolen riot shields, baseball bats, hockey sticks, flagpoles, PVC piping, and reinforced knuckle gloves. And the police, they reportedly suffered cuts, bruises, sprains, concussions, rib fractures, irritated lungs, and one mild heart attack, not to mention mental trauma. With one officer getting knocked unconscious, one losing the tip of a finger, many more getting smashed in the head, and others choked, pepper sprayed, and tased. So in total, over 140 cops reported injuries, many of them having to go to the hospital.
Multiple capital injuries! Multiple capital injuries! We're still taking metal, sharpened objects, missiles to include bottles and rocks, and hand-thrown chemical-grade fireworks.
Yet according to the White House, no big deal. 0 law enforcement officers lost their lives. I guess because Trump doesn't care about the officer who suffered 2 strokes nearly 8 hours after being pepper sprayed and then died, nor I guess the 4 more who took their own lives in the days and months after January 6th. Plus, let's remember, if the rioters got their way, somebody else may have ended up in the gallows erected outside of the Capitol.
Start making a list, put all those names down, and we start hunting them down one by one.
Yet the Trump White House, of course, didn't mention any of that. Instead, it featured memorials to the several so-called patriots who died. With that,
Some people's thirst for fucking violence is so fucking scary, bro. Like, just go play a fucking video game. Like, and some of these people are the same people to be like, oh, it's the video games that are the problem. Like, what, bro? Why are you so thirsty for bloodshed?
including Ashley Babbitt, who the White House claims was shot without warning, even though she, in their words, posed no threat. And with that, you have right-wing outlets like the Gateway Pundit and Libs of TikTok now even claiming that the cop who shot her, Michael Byrd, runs an unaccredited daycare out of his home and pocketed $190 million in HHS funds. But one, childcare accreditation is optional where he lives. Two, that $190 million figure appears to be total nonsense. And three, Babbitt was at the head of a violent mob crawling into the speaker's lobby where cops were guarding lawmakers. With all that said, as far as the other narrative being pushed by the White House, that the whole riot was the Democrats' fault, they mostly pinned the blame on then House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. With them pointing to footage that they claim shows her expressing regret for not accepting Trump's offer to send National Guard troops before the event.
For over 3 hours, we begged him to send the National Guard. He never did it. He took joy in not doing it, was savoring that. And right now, he was saying on TV today, I wanted to send it, they just wouldn't do it. His own Secretary of Defense, acting Secretary of Defense, testified under oath against what the president is saying.
The huge thing, Trump didn't need her permission to send the National Guard, and in reality, he was sitting back watching events unfold on TV from his private dining room. In fact, Trump reportedly resisted pressure from his allies, advisors, lawmakers, and even his own daughter to call off the riot for over 3 hours, with also the Washington Post describing those 187 minutes as follows. 25 minutes into Trump's silence, a news photographer was dragged down a flight of stairs and thrown over a wall. 52 minutes in, a police officer was kicked in the chest and surrounded by a mob. Within the first hour, 2 rioters died as a result of cardiac events. 64 minutes in, a rioter paraded a Confederate battle flag through the Capitol. 73 minutes in, another police officer was sprayed in the face with chemicals. 78 minutes in, yet another police officer was assaulted with a flagpole. 83 minutes in, rioters broke into and began looting the House Speaker's office. 93 minutes in, another news photographer was surrounded, pushed down, and robbed of a camera. 94 minutes in, a rioter was shot and killed. 102 minutes in, rioters stormed the Senate chamber, stealing papers and posing for photographs around the dais. 116 minutes in, a 4th police officer was crushed in a doorway and beaten with his own baton. Meanwhile, the president was reportedly raging to people around him about the vice president, and his tweets only added fuel to the fire, starting with one that blasted Mike Pence for not having the courage to do what should have been done to protect our country and our Constitution. Then another tweet telling his supporters to support Capitol Police and stay peaceful as if they weren't already violent. And next, asking everyone at the Capitol to remain peaceful, adding no violence. Meanwhile, when GOP House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy called him, reportedly Trump claimed the rioters were Antifa, to which McCarthy was like, no, they're your people. And then Trump reportedly said, you know what I see, Kevin? I see people who are more upset about the election than you are. They like Trump more than you do. And then finally, after 3 hours, Trump finally posted this video.
I know your pain. I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it, especially the other side. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. I know how you feel. But go home and go home in peace.
With that reportedly being the best of at least 3 takes, because he kept veering off the script that his staff had composed for him and repeatedly had to re-record it to get one that his aides felt was palatable enough to share with the public. But then still, the White House's revisionism isn't done. They also called the 2020 election the greatest election theft in U.S. history. In a section titled Betrayal of the President, they wrote, Vice President Mike Pence, who had the opportunity to return disputed electoral slates to state legislatures for review and decertification under the United States Constitution, chooses not to exercise that power in an act of cowardice and sabotage, and saying instead, Pence presides over the certification of contested electors, undermining President Trump's effort to address documented fraud and ending any chance to correct the election steal. Though still, after 5 years of playing whack-a-mole with these conspiracy theories, there's still no evidence the 2020 election was ever stolen. Nor are there any credible legal experts who believe that Mike Pence could have given Trump the win, and to this day, the former VP stands by that decision.
I will always believe, by God's grace, I did my duty that day to support the peaceful transfer of power under the Constitution of the United States of America.
But still, the White House claims that Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and other platforms, JP Morgan, Bank of America, Capital One, and other major financial institutions, plus the legacy media, all conspired to destroy Donald Trump politically and economically in the years that followed. And while, we kind of all knew that there were still people that believed this shit 5 years later, it is still to a certain degree shocking to see it laid out this comprehensively and ridiculously on an official government website. Which is then why you have people reacting online saying January 6th is crazy because we all watched it live and they're still gaslighting us about whether it happened. As well as, of course, people quoting Orwell's 1984, the party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. Right, and while there's a lot of focus on Trump rewriting history from 5 years ago, you've got some now accusing CBS News of rewriting history as it's happening. Many accusing CBS News of turning into Trump propaganda or Trump propaganda light for months now, and these concerns are just getting louder and louder, especially after last night's evening news broadcast. Because one, in their brief coverage of the anniversary of January 6th, for some reason they didn't mention Trump's revisionist website. And two, they ran this segment on Marco Rubio's role in the Trump administration where they glazed him harder than a box of Krispy Kremes.
The many lives and many jobs of Marco Rubio, the son of Cuban immigrants and a former Florida senator. He's now the face of U.S. foreign policy and President Trump's point man on Venezuela, all in addition to his roles as Secretary of State, interim National Security Advisor, and acting National Archivist and USAID chief. whatever you think of his politics, you got to admit it's an impressive resume.
CBS then took a kind of cutesy, jokey pivot to show a series of memes depicting Rubio holding other jobs like the governor of Minnesota, the new Shah of Iran, and Prime Minister of Greenland, before then adding,
now, back in real life, of course, these memes may not add up to much, but for Rubio's hometown fans, which are many around here in Miami, it is a sign of how Florida, once an American punchline, has become a leader on the world stage. Marco Rubio, we salute you. You're the ultimate Florida man.
And for many, this just felt like state media promo, state media propaganda, not a segment worthy of airing on a major news broadcast. Right? Many critical, and some noting that even Fox has more dignity than this. They're saying that CBS, they're using a news program to do corporate bidding and calling this a naked appeal for support from the White House for Paramount's bid for Warner Brothers Discovery. You know, while we're not in their heads and we can't prove intent on why they got the knee pads out, I mean, this
Bro, I just noticed Phil's jacket. That's so cool. What the fuck?
Tons of controversy lately, ever since the Paramount Skydance merger put David Ellison in charge and Barry Weiss became the new head of CBS News, right? People have viewed it as a more conservative outlet. Now it's revamping evening news with Tony DeCopel as the new anchor, and that's been off to a very rocky start. I mean, he only officially started on Monday, but even before then, he was irking people just by the way that he addressed viewers, talking about his goals for the show, saying,
The point is, on too many stories, the press has missed the story because we've taken into account the perspective of advocates and not the average American. Or we put too much weight in the analysis of academics or elites and not enough on you.
With many finding that troubling, saying that CBS News shouldn't be dismissing input from experts and just hearing the other side and then showing them as, you know, equal things. So with that, you had DeCopel actually fighting back against those comments on Instagram, right? When one person wrote, I grew up on Cronkite, too bad CBS has lost its Tiffany shine. DeCopel responded by saying, what did you love most about him? I can promise you we'll be more accountable and more transparent than Cronkite or anyone else of his era. Also, before his first show, CBS Evening News released new guidelines and promises to its viewers, and one of those was, we love America and we make no apologies for saying so. And adding, our foundational values of liberty, equality, and the rule of law make us the last best hope on earth. We aim to do our part every night. One way to think about our show is a daily conversation about where exactly we are as a country and where we are going. And again, for many, that was a red flag, making it sound like a news network was pledging allegiance to the country. A notion that even more people find concerning because Donald Trump has been moving like he is America. Then also had a lot of people wondering who the hell's running the show, and, you know, DeCopel made his official evening news debut this week. There was a major on-air blunder.
All right, to other news, as you just heard from Jill, well, to other news now, to Governor Walz. No, we're going to do Mark Kelly. First day, big problems here. Are we going to Kelly here, or are we going to go to Jonah Kaplan? We're doing Mark Kelly.
You know, while technical difficulties, they happen, many just thought that this moment, it kind of underscored the issues happening at CBS News right now. Variety even calling it an inauspicious sign of where CBS News is headed. But really where you're seeing the biggest concerns has to do with the change of content, the change of tone, and many saying it feels like this is really being built for an audience of one, and that being Donald Trump. To get in his good graces, to normalize his extremism, to be Trump propaganda light, maybe even work in a certain degree as an arm of the White House, which on that note, the White House Rapid Response account actually posted last night's Rubio segment in a positive light. And so also with that, you know, for some of the MAGA crowd, this was an appealing pivot. Really, one of the biggest questions is this going to be a winning strategy for CBS News moving forward? And there, I'll say it kind of depends on the goals. Is the goal to increase viewership, get more ad dollars, get more money, right? Run a successful business, or is it just having a thing to disseminate information, to push propaganda? And there, it kind of brings us back to Elon Musk buying Twitter. But is his goal there to run a business that actually makes a ton of money? Or is it about controlling the public square, controlling the dissemination of information, what's out there, what's not? Because that is its own kind of power. I would argue it's more important than money. But really how the systems work and are connected, especially with...
Yo, what's up, RK?
You could have a loss here, but I mean, to switch it around to everyone...
Hey guys, welcome in.
Bezos' Washington Post. It also is Amazon, also is Blue Origin, there are government contracts. It feels like with these organizations and social networks getting gobbled up, there is just going to be an understandable distrust of information, whether it be from previously mainstream trusted sources like CBS News and the like. And then there's even more we've got to dive into, but first let me say, you know, it is a new year, and if you're still online without a VPN, it's basically like walking through an airport holding your wallet open and saying, please behave, everyone. That's why today's sponsor, NordVPN, is a must-have, not a luxury. NordVPN encrypts everything you do online, so hackers, shady networks, and nosy data collectors get nothing. Also, the threat protection blocks shady links, malicious downloads, and trackers before they load, which means that those scam texts can't yank your bank info. And it's not just banking, it's email, travel booking, streaming, logging into anything. I mean, all locked behind behind next-generation encryption. Personally, I use NordVPN, especially on public Wi-Fi, airports, hotels, random cafes with routers older than my career. I mean, one click, unprotected. Plus, switching virtual locations is just stupid easy. Different libraries, different deals, same internet, just safer. And NordVPN has a strict no logs policy. They're not tracking you, storing you, or selling you. They protect you, period. So if you're looking to get the best deal anywhere, it's through my link right now. A huge discount on a 2-year plan plus 4 bonus months free. Just scan that QR code on the screen or go to nordvpn.com/Phil. Again, that's nordvpn.com/Phil. Best deal, extra months, zero risk. But then, to get back into the news, the US just seized a Russian-registered Venezuelan-linked oil tanker that it's been pursuing across the Atlantic for the past 2 weeks. But it's a tanker known as the Marinera, though when the chase began, it was called the Bella 1. And it appears that it's the only vessel owned by a company based in Turkey, which was also sanctioned by the United States Treasury Department back in 2024, with US officials accusing the company of moving goods on behalf of the Quds Force, which is an elite wing within Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps. Though also, notably, the vessel is believed to have been transporting Venezuelan crude oil in the past, and with that, US forces attempted to board the ship last month when it was in the Caribbean and believed to be heading toward Venezuela. And that being an effort to enforce Trump's total and complete blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers entering or leaving Venezuela. But the crew, they dramatically changed course. They sent out a distress signal and then they just went dark. But then, 2 weeks later and thousands of miles away, they turned on their broadcast signal with a whole new name, re-registering as a Russian vessel, whereas before they were this stateless vessel flying under a false flag. And that's a very key thing here because, as one expert explained, once it's legitimately registered, it gets the protection of the flag and dating. It's not retroactive. You can't say it was stateless 2 weeks ago, so we're going to say it's stateless now. And with that, Russia made what was seen as an unusual move of allowing the tanker to get what has since been described as a temporary permit to sail under the Russian flag without an inspection or other formalities. And actually, several other sanctioned tankers have re-registered as Russian vessels in recent weeks as well. In fact, at least 18 oil tankers hit by US sanctions have switched to a Russian registry, with many of them also having previously been sailing under a false flag. But for now, right, the focus is on the Marinera that the US has been pursuing for 2 weeks, even though it had never actually picked up any oil from Venezuela. And even though the Russian government made a formal diplomatic request that the US stop its chase. And all the while, this tanker was believed to have been heading toward a city in northwestern Russia. And while today, as the tanker moved northeast between Iceland and the UK, the Kremlin reportedly dispatching a submarine and other naval vessels to escort the tanker. At the same time, the US and the UK military scrambled aircraft in the area. And you then had reports quickly emerging that American forces had begun an operation to seize the tanker. Russian state media publishing footage reportedly taken from on board the tanker and appearing to show a US Coast Guard ship in the distance, as well as images purporting to show a US helicopter flying near the tanker. And sure enough, you then had the US European Command posting on X that the vessel was seized in the North Atlantic pursuant to a warrant issued by a US federal court. And going on to say the seizure supports POTUS proclamation targeting sanctioned vessels that threaten the security and stability of the Western Hemisphere. And then Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth adding, the blockade of sanctioned and illicit Venezuelan oil remains in full effect anywhere in the world. And actually, to that point, the Coast Guard also intercepted another Venezuela-linked tanker today, this one in the Caribbean, although the attention really it's been focused on the one registered in Russia. But especially as there have been fears of a Russia-United States standoff. Though in the end, there were reportedly no Russian vessels in the vicinity of the tanker during the seizure, though I will say that also doesn't mean that there's not going to be fallout from this. I mean, you've got the Russian Transport Ministry already issuing a statement accusing the United States of breaking the 1982 UN Convention of the Law of the Sea, saying no state has the right to use force against ships properly registered in the jurisdictions of other states. And you also had a senior Russian lawmaker from the country's ruling party arguing that the US's actions, they equated to an act of outright piracy. But also another big thing with everything we're talking about here is it may lead to more than just strong words from Russian ministries. It might sink any peace deal in Ukraine. And I mention that because right now, European, Ukrainian, and American negotiators are in Paris trying to work out another deal, right? And the negotiators, which included figures like Jared Kushner, which I guess means you know Trump is serious, they were all worried about the same problem. How do they deter future Russian aggression? And for that, they want to implement multi-layered defense guarantees for Ukraine. This, including by providing weapons and training to Ukraine's troops, which is probably a given, but the real breakthrough was the promise for a supporting force that would give land, sea, and air support. Now, I will say no information about how big that force is supposed to be has been released publicly. The US and allies are also supposed to monitor and verify that ceasefires are being adhered to. That also won't mean American boots on the ground, right? Trump has ruled that out explicitly. But France and the UK have signed a declaration of intent to send troops to Ukraine as part of any official peace deal. Even Germany was keeping the possibility of boots on the ground open, with their chancellor saying, Germany will continue to engage politically, financially, and also militarily. This could include, for example, deploying forces for Ukraine on neighboring NATO territory after a ceasefire. And for Ukraine, these security guarantees, they're a must-have for any peace, to the point they won't even consider a peace deal without them. Also, another must-have for any peace deal is that the US needs to actually be on board, and so far that does seem to be the case. Right, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff writing on X, we have made significant progress on several critical work streams, including our bilateral security agreement framework and a prosperity security plan. And adding, we agree with the coalition that durable security guarantees and robust prosperity commitments are essential to a lasting peace in the Ukraine, and we will continue to work together on this effort. At the same time, you had Kushner saying this does not mean we will make peace, but peace would not be possible without the progress we made today. And he might be right that despite major headway on a common agreement,
Yo, what's up?
that peace still might not come.
Hi, Roku. I'm doing good. How are you?
And boots on the ground, it just seems to be a line in the sand for them. And so far, at least as I'm recording, they haven't commented on the new peace deal, but the U.S.'s actions, they do amount to a direct confrontation with Russia. And while there are still some unknowns here, you might expect a massive response. But so far, the Russian Foreign Ministry has just called on the U.S. to ensure humane and dignified treatment of Russian citizens on board the tanker. And there's possibly two reasons for this. One is that it's Orthodox Christmas in Russia. So just like the U.S. and many countries, things kind of completely shut down at this time of year. So, it is entirely possible we see some stronger language and response in the coming days. But also, you can't look at this without considering that ever since Trump got reelected, Russia has been trying to kind of not confront the U.S. on really so many issues. And in some ways, it looks like it's working as Trump has entertained Russian demands for peace in Ukraine. Though the biggest payoff might be coming soon after Trump wrote a massive anti-NATO piece on Truth Social. Wrote a piece where he bashes members of the alliance and claims that the U.S. props it up before then adding, Russia and China have zero fear of NATO without the United States, and I doubt NATO would be there for us if we really needed them. A statement that, many people took as Trump threatening to leave NATO, which was then kind of contradicted in that post itself, because right after Trump added, we will always be there for NATO, even if they won't be there for us. So of course, that he then made sure to end it by making it clear that he was behind the US version of America that Russia and China fear. But also, here's the thing, whatever Trump's writing online, you have this White House still making threats that if they follow through on it, it could very possibly lead to the end of NATO. Or with White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt continuing to insist yesterday and today that acquiring Greenland is a national security priority and that the use of military force remains an option. Now with that, you also have Secretary of State Marco Rubio recently telling lawmakers that these threats aren't serious and they're just about pressuring Denmark into selling Greenland. That's also not really reassuring, with experts arguing that the stakes are just too high to not take Trump seriously, especially considering what he just did in Venezuela. Just like with what happened there, it doesn't really seem to be about drugs. It's not clear that the interest in Greenland is really about national security. Right? Greenland, this autonomous territory of Denmark, is strategically located and home to vast untapped mineral resources that much of the world is currently reliant on China for. And as far as security, the U.S. already has a military base on the island, which supports missile warning and missile defense operations. And in fact, with some conditions, the agreement that allows the U.S. to operate its base there also allows it to construct, install, maintain, and operate military bases across Greenland, house personnel, and control landings, takeoffs, anchorages, moorings, movements, and operation of ships, aircraft, and waterborne craft. Right? It's why you have experts saying the U.S. has such a free hand in Greenland that it can pretty much do what it wants. And adding, I have a very hard time seeing that the U.S. couldn't get pretty much everything it wanted if it just asked nicely. And even when it comes to mineral resources, Greenlanders have said that they're open to doing business. Also with this, right, Trump's reason...
I can't even afford my rent and my groceries right now.
Russian and Chinese ships...
Neither can anyone in my family.
You've had European officials...
I'm not going abroad for a while.
...have increased their activity in the region. Most of that's elsewhere in the Arctic, with no current uptick in activity in Greenland. The Danish Foreign Ministry said the image is being painted of Russian and Chinese ships right inside the Nuuk Fjord and massive Chinese investments being made is not correct.
Do I play chess? I play a little bit of chess, yeah.
Misreading of what is up and what is down. Now with all this, you've got Danish and Greenlandic officials reportedly hoping to meet with Marco Rubio to push back against Trump's flawed view of the security situation and ultimately ease tensions. You've also seen several European nations as well as Canada coming out with a joint statement showing their support for Denmark and Greenland, though notably avoiding explicit criticism of the U.S. And also, there's been a lot of discussion about what else might actually be done to stop the United States from doing kind of whatever it wants. So there, the answer may very well be not that much. But it's been said that European countries could reconsider their support for U.S. military bases on their territory, possibly taking steps to limit access or increase costs. But the problem there is that NATO and Europe, they still depend heavily on the United States for their own security. And similarly, it's been said that European countries could try to use trade or taxation policies to pressure the United States, at least in theory. But in practice, those actions could also...
No, I'm not gonna play chess right now.
And so ultimately, many of the options...
I don't even know what my rating is. I mainly play, like, in person.
They would, at the very least, weaken NATO and maybe ultimately bring about its end as well. So it's actually been argued that there is a definite pathway toward a non-military U.S. takeover of Greenland. Though if it did come down to military action, it also probably wouldn't face any resistance. Or even at a Danish politician who asked to stay anonymous telling Politico, it could be like 5 helicopters. He wouldn't need a lot of troops. There would be nothing they could do. You also had an associate professor of military operations at the Royal Danish Defense College further explaining, you could just simply put troops in the country and just say that it's American now. And adding, the United States military is capable of landing any number of forces on Greenland, either by air or by sea, and then claiming that it's American territory. And we talk about all of that not to normalize it, but to, note that while it still may be unlikely, not long ago, it felt like a complete impossibility. But that, my friends, is the end of today's Wednesday Philip DeFranco show. I want to say thank you so much for spending some time.
Thanks, Phil.
Even if you did so as a second screen experience, because your attention span has just been
I click off when he says that. Hey, don't call me out.
What's up? Hey, it's we sold out Squirming Village together.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Holy
yeah.
shit. I'm glad to see you.
Yeah,
How's you doing?
Well, clearly I'm not a fucking guy anymore.
Hey, you have to be you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm glad you're able. I'm glad you're able to do that.
Yeah, no, seriously. Like, you. Like, I don't know if you remember, but you really helped me.
Oh man, appreciate that.
Way back then.
Appreciate that so much.
Like, seriously, thank you.
I know how to recognize patterns. I'm good at seeing the media narratives, lining up the facts. Been doing it for years now. We got wind. That feels good, actually. Crazy to say that wind in January feels good, but it does. Oh, that feels good. It's January. I was delusional when I was a Trump supporter. I'm good now, actually. I'd rather not understand what's going on and be more of my own person than be led around by billionaires and con men, pedophiles. Donald, single one was interested, so it's unfortunate. You said yeet eat is burning my ass. Pause. Steve knows what that feels like. So tell Steve Oatley, welcome back. Same old, same old. We're just older now. No, I was not present for the shooting. I showed up like maybe 20 minutes after. I heard about it in the thing. In the thing. We're just gonna call it that. I heard it in the thing at the place, and so then I showed up, and now we've been with it ever since. It's all in the stream, guys. So if you if you missed it, you can go rewatch it afterwards. It's posted. If you're on Facebook, you're gonna have to come to YouTube or Twitch to rewatch the stream. After 30 days, the stream deletes itself. So if you're ever like, oh, I want to go back to see what happened in Minneapolis when the ICE agents killed that lady, I can't remember. Oh, Mercado was live. Make sure you go and subscribe to the channel on YouTube, because YouTube will keep it posted. tripod up so I can. Of course, buddy. Yeah. It was tough to keep up with it.
Yeah. You guys were moving quick.
Man,
I might
fast.
go way too far south, so walk back up north.
Let my body breathe a little bit. I have to take this vest. Unzip my body. Oh boy. Chanting outside of the courthouse in downtown Minneapolis. Chanted "Ice Out Now." I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know. Good ideas. Listen, Chad. Like I said, we get some support for activists that tune in, and I appreciate that. But I'm not. It's by design. Like, I don't want to be in the planning. It would kind of ruin it. It wouldn't be independent journalism if I knew what was going to happen. Right? I only can predict with connecting the dots of the administration and like what could happen next. But when we're on the ground out here, I truly do not know. This is where we're at. We're out here at the Diana Murphy Courthouse. Take a moment and like the stream if you guys haven't. Share it out if you could. Okay, Walls didn't show the footage. Marching so goddamn fast. They were like running. That was massive, but I think we just fell off.
We have a right to be here. So we're gonna get organized.
Oh, bro, I literally saw this guy's POV video on Facebook of him walking out his fucking apartment to seeing this shit. What is her problem? It was literally like the girl that died right outside of his fucking apartment. He was filming a video and he walked out his front door to see it.
I thank everybody for coming out here. I thank everybody. I remember in school, we learned about having a dream. Yeah. Fuck a dream we have today. And we're not dreaming, we're living. And guess what we're gonna do? We're not gonna let no innocent people die on our watch. We're not gonna let some foreign people ICE come to our people and kill us. That's why I stopped you. She didn't do nothing. I saw the video. She just drove off. We ride together. Wrong is wrong and right is right. She drove off innocently. And they killed her, shot her in her head. Murdered her. Murdered her.
Is that the woman who was killed by frozen water? No. Maybe you didn't see. I only saw, like, in my face. I couldn't avoid it because I'm from Minnesota and I have so many people I'm connected to from Minnesota posting about it right now. A woman was killed by an ICE agent in Minnesota today. ICE or DHS or whatever made a statement saying that the woman was attacking them. But in the video you can see clearly the woman was driving away and the ICE agent fired point blank 3 times, killing her. Not that it matters, but she was a US citizen. There's just like a lot of vitriol going on around it. A lot of my friends have very strong opinions about it. My cousin's family member, that was the breadwinner of their household, was taken by ICE. earlier this week, and it's just like, yeah, man, I was like avoiding talking about politics and whatnot because I'm in the middle of a case and I don't want my opinions being used against me in a court of law because they will. So I was avoiding talking about things like this until after that case is dealt with, but the case is going to be ongoing for a long time. And this is just factually messed up. I'm very careful about what I say. I don't wish hate upon anyone or wish the downfall of people, but I think just spreading information and awareness is important during these times where they're very obviously trying to manipulate things that happen to cause more chaos and violence to occur. So
this is where it stops. No, we're gonna start at the federal people, shit, man. To jail, and guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna come together, nigga, and we're gonna do things right.
yeah, I understand, but it's like literally like affecting my family directly, you know?
Because we're together. Peacefulness gets us killed. This is what we do. We're marching. This ain't a mean.
Like I literally a couple days ago shared a GoFundMe for my cousin who has a little baby and it's deeply affecting them, and then all of a sudden a woman just gets killed. It's really fucked up. Oh man.
First things first, though, I do not speak for any agency at all whatsoever. I will say that we got people being shot in the face on our streets, right? Every goddamn judge on
What's up, audio?
in the state courts, in the federal courts, can be doing something. At the very least, keeping ICE out of those fucking courtrooms. Everybody in every part of this whole structure
Hi, Kellogg.
has the ability to resist.
Yes.
To resist in some way. The question is, when are they going to do it?
We're gonna start. We're gonna start.
We're gonna ice out ICE.
Let's go. Yeah, we want somebody else to share something.
If they're checking shit about opening these doors because we're out here, I say these doors don't fucking open until ICE is out of this city. Yeah! I know you're lying. Tell your people, here, now, this is the time!
This is the time.
We need division. We need unity. Get here. Be here. Be a person who in 50 years will be proud to tell your grandchildren the truth about what you did in 2026. Those fucking cowards think of the lies they'll be telling for the rest of their fucking lives when this is over. Think of the lies they will tell to avoid consequences when we...
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Our fucking uprising. I am tired of fighting for my neighbors.
And I think like the lack of punishment, like everything seems so fucking orchestrated to sow like a culture war and like hate towards one another that yeah, like things like this happen, give them a slap on the wrist, make it a huge talking point, and it makes people more angry. And they keep talking about a civil war. It's like they're what are they doing? What are they trying to do, bro? Like it's so fucked, and it's so like obviously the opposite of what needs to happen to make things better. It's like very clear that they don't want to actually make things better. They don't. They just want to like control the poor people by like making them constantly fucking hate each other for no fucking reason and brainwash each other and fear for their fucking lives, man. Oh man, some of this shit, I just like have to understand that there's a lot of bots online, but some of these are real opinions. But some of the shit that I was just reading prompted by this issue is just so fucking brain dead, man. It's like, is there a person in there, or is this a bot account? It's like it's gotta be a bot account. But then it's like you meet people like this in real life, and they just repeat these talking points like they're a programmed robot. It's fucking sad. It's really sad. Oh man. Yeah, exactly.
Does anybody have a word in their heart? Anybody knows the victim? Anybody knows the victim? That can show their gratitude.
Yo, Crafty says hi, Kellogg.
Love their
You know, when I was a kid and I was...
Most people are on Twitch. There's some people on YouTube and Kick too right now.
You know, Nazi Germany and fascist Italy and dictatorships like that. And I always questioned when I was a kid, how did the people of these countries allow this to happen? Why didn't they rise up and fight? But seeing as what I've seen in this country, I realize that it's easier than you think. You blink and your freedoms are gone unless we stand up here and fight to protect them. We have to stand together in unity and show these people that we will not be silent.
Thank you. Does anybody else want to say something with gratitude, peacefully, so everybody can understand what's going on?
If we're gonna march, y'all gotta let people keep up. Yeah. We lost so many people because the front was moving too fast.
True.
That's how we stick together.
That's all. I got an idea. But I'm not gonna get it. This is great. I don't have to do anything. I don't know. I say we line up right across these and block these doors.
Yeah, right.
Let's go! I second that motion. Go ahead. Try and move us. Let's block them in.
And you know what? They always want to cover. She's a lawyer, so is that all right? Is that all right?
I refuse to provide legal advice.
Oh, okay, it's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's all right, because we're not
But I
doing
will
nothing wrong.
say, misdemeanor bail, $78 exactly is the minimum bail. Make sure you have some cash on you when
I got
you
some
are
cash
out.
for everybody.
Make sure that you get yourselves out.
For real. Yeah, right or not. It's for you. So let's organize and let's lock these doors up so they can lose business and deal with this atrocity that happened.
If they arrest us all, it's going to be a party in jail.
Manchurian Candidate. No.
Right. We'll see. I guess see how this plays out a little bit. I guess. They have it in their hands. They have the mace ready. Like it's in there, but they haven't came out yet. So. Facebook, did we fix the audio? Yeah. My bad, Facebook. I haven't looked at the chat. So right now they're standing in front of the courthouse. It fell apart because the march was moving so fast. They were the march was going so fast. Those will be
by the hands of ICE. By the hands of ICE agents who are terrorizing minority populations and terrorizing our friends and neighbors. That's the domestic terrorism that I see.
What is the message to the government when you see them say they're just doing their job?
That's what Nazi said. Certainly okay to engage in unlawful and horrific behavior trying to preserve your own shred of dignity. But they don't have it anymore.
What do you hope to help us being out here today?
Damn, I wish it wasn't so hard to hear her.
We need everybody who
had to figure it out or get hurt. So I guess I figured it out. It all worked out. Yeah, we're talking about.
Oh, like, he has surgery. Where is he online?
I did. It was the.
Hey, yo! It's lovely that we're all here, and I'm so grateful that we've got numbers. I'm not pulling my mask down. Okay. I love that we got numbers. It's amazing that everybody's here in support, and obviously, fuck these guys inside. There's a vigil back at 34th in Portland, where the event happened, that's happening at 5 p.m., and that's our priority right now. So we're gonna make our way back there, and then when we get there, we have the power of numbers, aside from like the 150 people that are here. We'll have a way higher thing, and that's gonna be organized through MIRAC. We're gonna give love and thanks for an innocent woman, you know what I'm saying, that passed away by the hands of ICE.
Do we know her name yet?
Renee Macklin. Her name is...
Renee Macklin.
Her name is...
Renee Macklin.
Her name is... Renee Macklin. Her name is... Renee Macklin. Her name is... Renee Macklin. Her name is... Renee Macklin. Her name is... Renee Macklin. Her name is...
Hey,
Renee Macklin.
say it in the chat.
I got a quote to read out.
Oh, there we gotta go. Yeah, I'm going with you. He's just reading a quote. He's reading a quote. It's okay. We can read quotes. They already said hi. They already said hi. I know. I told him to go follow you, so.
Hey, so the woman's name is
Renee Macklin. Renee Macklin.
All right, just throwing it out there. All right, we just found out.
Yep.
The woman who shot him.
And I already knew. I was like, it was so impromptu. It was a vigil.
Status quo to status quo.
There you go. What? Put in the comments, you guys are all tuned in from around the world. We got a worldwide audience, definitely today.
Renee.
Last name is Macklin, John. I don't think her last name.
This shit is lagging. What the heck, man? They're sabotaging it.
We outside. But despite it all, when we were driving around,
damn, that's fucked. I'm sorry, buddy.
and shout out to you bus riders, right? Shout out to transit. But when we looked at every corner in this city today, what did we see? Protests. We saw people with whistles. We saw people giving notifications, checking license plates. We saw honking. We saw the whistling. We heard it. This city stood up and protected itself. It mobilized. And we're going to continue to need this action. I'm sorry. This is horrific. We pray for our sister. And we will pray for her to continuing on. However, we need to maintain the resistance. I don't say burn yourself out. Take care of yourself. We can't take care of anything unless we take care of ourselves first. But we need to be in community. Mutual aid and solidarity isn't just a word. It is an experience. It is an act that we choose every second of the day. We will continue to need the whistles. We will continue to need bodies outside, monitoring license plates and notifying people. Because when people hear those whistles, when people heard those car honks, that was a notification to your neighbors, to your community, that a threat is nearby. So they knew to either scram or to hide or to be safe.
Rapid response.
It shouldn't be this way, but guess what? It is this way. So what I'm saying is, who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe.
Who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe.
And however you do that, however you did that today, that made a fucking difference. We kept people from getting kidnapped. And we're going to continue to need that. Take care of each other. Stay vigilant. Stay militant. Right now, the inevitable happened, right? Horrific. But what they want is for us to make a mistake. Don't give them that.
Keep it peaceful.
They want us to pop off. And we know we can pop off. Right? But be militant. Be intentional and show up for each other. We're going to need it. It's a long fight. Say her name. Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good. Renee Good.
Renee Good. Renee Good.
I love you, Minneapolis.
We have a brief announcement. For crowding over by 34th, we're asking people to start shifting north towards 33rd so we can make more space for people to congregate on this block. Just to make everything clear. Okay. Everyone take a couple steps the other way, I guess. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's the right way. No Trump! No troops! Twin Cities ain't Lincoln boost! No Trump! No troops! Twin Cities ain't Lincoln boost! No Trump! No troops! Twin Cities ain't Lincoln boost! No Trump! No troops! Twin Cities ain't Lincoln boost! No Trump! No Trump! No troops! No troops! Twin Cities ain't Lincoln boost! No Trump! No Trump! No troops! No troops! Twin Cities ain't Lincoln boost! No Trump! No troops! Twin Cities ain't Lincoln boost! No Trump! No troops! Twin Cities ain't Lincoln boost! No Trump! No troops! Twin Cities ain't Lincoln boost! No Trump! No troops! Twin Cities ain't Lincoln boost! No Trump! No troops! Twin Cities ain't Lincoln boost! I say Minnesota, you say Presente! Minnesota! 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 When I say I do it for my people, you say yo lo hago pa mi gente! I do it for my people! I do it for my people! Minnesota! Minnesota! finally, we have more speakers for tonight, and we're going to keep chanting. Mirak does have a protest this Saturday, 1 p.m. at Powderhorn at the intersection of 32nd and 10th, I believe. So, if you are frustrated, if you want to join an organization, if you want to dictate, hey, I want to speak, hey, I want to chant, I want to talk to the press, show up and introduce yourselves, because we are all the same, and you are just as competent as I am in speaking and in being whatever the fuck this is. But I know you have the power to do this, because I learned and I practiced with my people. And I am only strong because of Mira and Angel and Mari and Miguel and Montana and all of Mira, all of TCC for J. We're honored to have Jaylani Hussein from the Council on American Islamic Affairs in Minnesota. He spoke earlier today at 12:15 for a press conference, and it's a great honor to have representation for the Somali community. And he is a great beacon of hope during this time. Thank you.
How about we get a round of applause for those chants and for Myrak and all the great work that everybody is doing. All right, I want to start off by greeting you all with a greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May peace and blessings be upon you all this evening. I want to start off by saying to all of you that you did the most important thing. You showed up here tonight. You showed up. You found a way to be here. You came outside to stand with your neighbors and your brothers and sisters. You decided to be here in this space, and I want you to just hold yourself up in this moment for being here and standing up and showing up in this moment. I want to just remind you and remind myself, first and foremost, nothing is an accident. Nothing is an accident. No tragedy befalls upon people unless those people are able to do something about it.
I was about to tweet earlier and I deleted it because I didn't want to like get a bunch of people pissed off at me. But it was like so many people that would call themselves like libertarians, like anti-bootlicker, like whatever the fuck, like recently have just really fucking loved licking boots and like being aggressively authoritarian and controlling in whatever way that they can. It's like, isn't like libertarian you're supposed to like be the opposite of that? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I think people are telling on themselves, man. I think some people would like paint themselves to be like a certain way, and then when the time is primed for them to be an authoritarian asshole, they think they can get away with it. They're like, oh yeah, I'll fucking drive across the country to police a state that I've never been to and take people out of their homes and assume who they are. Like, it's fucking insane, man. I appreciate you, Liker. It's hard. It's not easy. I'm like actively punished for it. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck, man? It's like, I would always try and have the benefit of the doubt and listen to people because I too used to have some like bigoted beliefs, so it's like I try and be patient with people, but some people are just like, any opportunity possible, they're like, how could I be like the biggest asshole possible in this instant? And then they just like gun for it. I'm like, I can't just like keep showing a bunch of empathy to people who choose to have none for anyone, like including themselves, because it's like, bro, you're fucking up the world for you too. Like, if you like look at like socioeconomically, whatever, like how we get crime and like areas being unsafe, it's like fascism, trauma, you know, like you don't want this, I promise. You're not thinking clearly right now. You're literally just like a toddler throwing a tantrum.
Nothing happens to a community unless something...
The fucked up thing is, so many fucking ICE agents are probably being paid more than they've ever been paid in their lives to do what they're doing, though. It's really fucked up.
Decided to do the right thing. Stand up for their neighbors. Do whatever it takes And I want to let you know that Renee was not alone this morning. She had brothers and sisters watching her back, on her side, behind her, of a problem with immigration. Because immigration is not anything but an attack against
Right. No, and I've literally seen studies done on this, that the people who spout the fucking propaganda the most are like the least educated.
Ukrainians coming here. We don't talk about immigration when we have white people coming here from South Africa. We don't talk about immigration when it's a white issue. We talk about immigration when it's a brown, black issue. But here's the reality. Here's the reality. The reality is, and I hate to say it on this moment and where we stand right now, is we have all failed to address the issue of immigration in this country. No matter who tells you they worked on it, we have all failed to stand up and create a morally just immigration system in this country. Truth has to come out. This country benefited from enslaved free labor. This country benefits today from low-wage workers who they're calling and saying that they don't want them here, who are taking care of your food, taking care of your meals, taking care of your grandma, taking care of you and everyone around you. It is time in this country for young Republicans and Democrats alike, immigrants and non-immigrants, and no matter who you are, to stand up and say, for finally, let's fix immigration in this country. No more ICE, because we have fixed immigration. No more ICE, because no one is illegal in America. No more ICE, because this land is stolen from Native Americans. For far too long, so many people just like us stood on so many grounds demanding change. The question now is, what are we going to do to make that change happen? And I'm asking you, and I'm begging you, in this moment, as we stand on a corner that a young woman lost her life this morning, for the chance to just be an observer, it is this moment that I hope some of you take with you. A commitment to fix this immigration problem. A commitment to talk to everyone and anyone that this country and the way we treat immigrants in this country is wrong. It is wrong. And I want to let you know a secret that they haven't told you. I am a Somali American, one of those Somali Americans. And I'm proud to be a Somali American. I'm proud of where we came from. I'm proud of the country that I've come from. But I want to tell you something about Somalia. I would have not been here if it was not for the imperialism and the foreign policy of the United States of America that came to my land and used Somalia and Ethiopia as a proxy war between the United States and Russia. Go read it up. Today, Somali Americans in Minnesota and across this country are being attacked on social media. Our businesses are being targeted. Our children are being targeted up to our daycares. And we need every single one of you to stand up. Because I'm going to let you know something. And I've heard this from Somali parents and Somali mothers who told me, where are the good people? Why isn't anybody standing up for us? Why isn't anybody saying something on social media? Nick Shirley came to the Twin Cities and had unfettered access to our community. Lying-ass Nick Shirley. But the reality is this. The reality is this.
Good point, Patrick.
And in this time that you hear this. Minneapolis, Minnesota. God has chosen us to carry the burden of standing up against this administration. It is time in this moment that we meet the moment. Make a commitment, first of all, to yourself. That Renee Good's life and in this tragic end will not end. Renee Good's life will be talked about, and it will be the moment we have turned this country around. It will be because of Renee Good that we have turned America around. It will be because of Renee Good that we will think about our neighbors. And it will be because of Renee Good that this country goes from being evil to good. The tragic end to Renee Good brought all of us here today. But it will be even more tragic if none of us do something about it. None of us commit to solving the problem. None of us commit to talking to those around us. I ask every single one of you make a commitment to volunteer, to help, do something in order to fight against the repression that is happening to immigrants in this country. I know we can do it. And no matter what they say about Minnesota, I love this state and I love the people of this great state. I love the warm friends of Catholics and people of faith and people of no faith. I love the young people of this state, and I love the old people of this state. And we, as Minnesotans in this moment, cannot go back into our homes, not think about what we are on the clock. I want to share with you something. I came here in 1993 as a young child, and I used to go to Bancroft Elementary School, which is not far from here. I used to walk from that old Kmart right here. This is an area that as a child I walked. And I want to let you know, I never thought, but this moment is this moment, that we are literally blocks away from where George Floyd was murdered. It is not an accident. It is a reminder that we did not finish the job when George Floyd was killed. And now we're given another chance to stand up against police brutality, this time from ICE. Let's make that commitment. It is a marathon, not a sprint. We need everybody. We need all of you. And in this moment, we must demand justice for Renee Good by any means necessary.
It did. I've also been away for a bit.
Anna Williams, I'm with Justice for...
Sorry guys, my YouTube's being a little weird. Why the fuck is Fox showing this angle?
The vehicle is right there.
There's another angle from the other side though.
It's hard to see what takes place in this particular video, but that is the front angle, and then we have also obtained some video from behind where it happens, but that is the vehicle that belongs to the woman. Okay, they're approaching.
Yeah,
okay.
This is ICE agents just pulling up here. The vehicle is
Lower right. And it happens so fast that okay. They're approaching.
Yeah,
okay.
This is ICE agents just pulling up here. The vehicle is
Lower
right there. It's just pulling up here. The vehicle is
Lower
right there.
And it happens so fast that it's hard to see what takes place in this particular video, but that is the front angle, and then we have also obtained some video from behind where it happens, but that is the vehicle that belongs to the woman who was...
He's actively trying to rip her out of the car in the other video. She's clearly fleeing.
It's unclear why she was...
And she did not do a crime.
In the street, or what was happening in the street at that time. We do know that as they...
Interesting that that's the first clip they show.
...told her to get out of
Of course, the big statement for Trump before the other context.
The perspective where we can maybe slow this down and show you from somebody who...
They're purposefully not showing the video where it's like, she's clearly trying to get out of the situation.
Very quick quickly. We're going to try to get to a point where we can maybe slow this down and show you some still shots. But as Randy was saying, we see all, and it was.
We have to do media coverage to justify her dying rather than taking responsibility for how we should not be doing what we're doing.
Then after you hear the shots, it veers off into that parked car on the side of the street. Christine.
And there's the dude that killed her.
Today, I don't know if we can put it up on the screen, but just want to give you the perspective of all the different reactions that are coming in as a adverse weather that protect himself and the people around.
The adverse weather. This is normal for Minnesota. If they're from, like, where it's warm, they should not be in Minnesota, like, kidnapping people from their houses. This is not adverse weather for Minnesota. Like, what?
And again, they have deployed about 2,000 ICE.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's all that's on the YouTube feed, though, when you click news. It's sad.
The Nazis shot and killed a protester in Minneapolis.
No, I don't live with them. And they don't really use social media like that.
We will never be
to 10. The sun came bursting in. All's well through a certain lens, but it sure is tense, unearthing gems. To bend to our earthly whims, the pressure that we circumvent. The bread served in a circus tent, I got fear to shed like serpent skin. When it rears its head, birds ascend through the nerves and tendons, through the firmament and take root in the third dimension. For the burgeoning seeds in the trench, but the words on the leaflet are dense. Herculean attempts to move even an inch. You can see the resent in a deeper intent. Anyhow, when the boughs on the crowded street, I can see for 1,000 miles. You can rant till the cows arrive, emerge word of flesh and walk down the aisle. Been around for a minute now, looking out for my inner child. Been about what I've been about. When in doubt, go a different route. Slow it down like switch your house. If it goes south, I'll retain the highest hopes. I don't fish for cosigns on either coast. I put the whole wide world under microscope. Break it down to protons and isotopes. You already, all day, every. It all pans out, but it all weighs heavy. The fire stoked, but don't fly too close. I'll treat it with the deep reverence when I approach. That right there, quite rare. A moment of peace, a stillness to heal the sick. A flower in the wilderness, in the field with the thorns and the birds of prey. And a light so bright you avert your gaze. All I have's words of praise for a calm that repairs every nerve that's frayed. Anyhow, for my next trick, I'll pull myself out from a cesspit and head straight for the exit. Exodus, out like 3 strikes in the catcher's mitt. God bless the kid and keep him young, even with bad knees and receding gums. Lead him through the dark of night and false light when the cold wind speaks in the secret tongue. Guide the youth, keep them fit. Don't let them overheat when they're feverish. Water all the plants, feed the fish. See the universe in the petri dish. Teach an old flea bit dog a new trick to tighten up screws with the proper toolkit. And watch the mood shift, good as new. Big up yourself for the good you do. That right there, quite rare. A moment of peace, a stillness to heal the sick. A flower in the wilderness, in the field with the thorns and the birds of prey. And a light so bright you avert your gaze. All I have's words of praise for a calm that repairs every nerve that's frayed.
Words are the bridges we build to reach each other. They can bring an idea,
I stand.
and tell them to the whole human race.
I need to walk through the pale light that occupies the world, and believe it when a drop of blood says, listen, paradise is never far away, and simpler than you think it, think it, think it, think it.
We have the feeling we are getting nowhere.
The warning has passed unnoticed.
Live from the snake pit, equipped with free will to twist fate with. Dwarfed by the towers we build, let's switch places. Ever since I quit the day shift, my vision's LASIK. They give a man a shovel and pick to dig his grave with. The cruel subterfuge used to fuel hatred by the state sock puppets and pundits with 2 faces. Got us at each other's throats, falling for the same tricks. Facing Earth's birth pangs and tectonic plate shifts. She gyrates, I watch her shake like jello mold. Walk across oceans, hopscotch, archipelago goals. Well disposed to tell tales seldom told about worlds within worlds that can't be seen through your telescopes. If nothing sacred, you can mold it how you see fit. Strip mine the globe, recode the double helix. Split atoms in half, reduce men to lab rats, and open up a Pandora's box of other secrets. Wow. Playing roles, plugging holes in the sinking ship. Ill-equipped to wield the power at our fingertips. Wow. Confronted by a diamond back in the wilderness that offered me the global village on a silver dish.
I'm doing good, Stan. How are you? Thanks for liking the live, Alex. Appreciate it. I have not heard your new song. I have a Discord where we share music and also current event stuff if you ever want to drop anything in there.
A head full of dreams, a heart wrapped in razor wire. Throwing snakes in the stomach, acid lake of fire. When I was young, my hands slipped off the highest rung. I prepped the chemicals for liftoff and life begun. A fist-sized knot, fresh dip, extra.
I was actually about to head out in a second because I'm finished getting ready now. But I'll probably get back on later on another website.
Cleansed in the hunger pangs, cleansed in the fire, baptized by the summer rain. Heads hung in shame, faces in our palms purge what no
Oh, cool. Awesome. Yeah, I'll check it out. Sweet. Yeah, definitely if you want to share it with other people in the community, post in my Discord. I have a current events channel. It would be cool to see current events from the perspective of the people who are like, directly affected by it, living there, because some people just like to like talk shit about places they've never even been to. Sorry, the dogs. But I'll be back, guys. I'll talk to you guys later.
Be wise as serpents and harmless as doves.
Okay, wait, we're gonna do a raid on Twitch. I haven't done one in a while. It's been a while since I streamed on everything. Let me see who I can raid. Okay, we're raiding Emaru. Okay. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye. Not been cloud gazing looking for a silver line. Today was like the first day. I should have stolen it.